Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 84 of SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. We're going to pick two random SoulsBorne bosses, and then they will decorate two different houses for Thanksgiving. And whoever has the nicest decorations of the houses will be the winner. I need my house decorated for Thanksgiving. It's basically what that amounts to, so... These two SoulsBorne bosses are going to do it for me because I'm the boss and they do what I say. So I don't know how to put it any simpler than that. So it just is what it is. All right. The battlefield has been cleared. It can house any and all SoulsBorne bosses, and it has housed all of them at least once in the SoulsBorne Battle Royal. There are pretty close to 100 bosses in this little generator that I have created, and some special spots which can create some very unique scenarios. So we are going to stop this wheel, and we are going to see who contestant number one is. Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, the final boss of Dark Souls 1. I mean, needless to say, considering he is the final boss of Dark Souls 1, he's very difficult. He hits very hard. He can close distance very quickly. So yeah, Gwyn, Lord of Cinder is certainly no slouch. I think it's always an interesting time when he pops up in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. So there are definitely some interesting fights that we can create in this little scenario that we have going for us. So, I mean, it's definitely at least 100 steps up from Soldier of Godric from last week. So, I, for one, am not complaining about that, and I hope you are not either. So, so yeah, we have Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. We're going to take this wheel for another spin. We are going to decide the opponent for Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. I think Gwyn has popped up at least once in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death, although I could be wrong about that. Kind of taking a look at the list now, and it's only on one page, but I don't see him, so I may or may not be wrong about that. But yeah, Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, making an appearance here on SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. He stands on one side of the battlefield, and on the other end we have... Sorry, I don't know if you heard that, but Kitten decided to chime in on the other side there. She actually just happens to be locked in my room right now, and she's not very happy about it. Okay, Gwyn, Lord of Cinder are on one side, and the other side we have... Great Grey Wolf Sith. Woo boy. This is a very interesting fight, I think. I think this is one hell of a fight, to be honest with you. This is a main event fight. For sure. That's what I believe. I think the only thing that would make it better is if it would have been Artorias, but that's alright. Great Grey Wolf Sith is... I am never sad to see Sith in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death, so... Alright. Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, and Great Grey Wolf Sith. I said that slowly because if I said it any faster, I'd probably screw it up. All right. We are going to go to the contractually obligated bio, so let's have a look at Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. When the first flame appeared, Gwyn was one of the first primordial human-like creatures that appeared underground in the world of Dark Souls. And he became one of the first that found the Lord Souls around there somehow. And he used this immense power to form a very powerful underground civilization. And he formed an army of Silver Knights as well. After having a couple of kids, including this man right here and his eldest daughter, Guinevere, Gwyn woke up on the wrong side of the bed one day and decided that he wanted to go above ground and conquer the surface world full of dragons. This war turned out to be a very bloody one, as Gwyn found it very difficult to pierce the scales of the dragons. The scales were resistant to magic and weaponry and all kinds of stuff. So for every dragon that they vanquished, 3 scores of Gwyn's soldiers were equally eliminated. Gwyn became desperate enough to integrate the primordial humans into his ranks, the descendants of the furtive pygmy that had found the Dark Soul, and they developed their own weapons and armor, infused with the life-giving power of the Abyss. The tide of the war turned in Gwyn's favor when Seath the Scaleless betrayed his kind, and it was through this newfound union that it was discovered that the dragon's immortality was through their scales. And thus, Gwyn used the power of his great soul to manipulate the sunlight into lightning, which then was used to pierce the scales of the dragons. It became the dragon's great weakness. Gwyn's eldest son, the Nameless King, would also take part in these battles, and he slayed several dragons with his lightning spears and his primordial cross spear. And after a long struggle, Gwyn and his warriors would emerge victorious in this battle. But Gwyn's victory was overshadowed by the furtive pygmy's discovery of the Dark Soul, which the power of that soul greatly eclipsed the power of the Lord Souls. And it posed a great threat to Gwyn and his dominion over the world. But Gwyn settled this dispute rather diplomatically. He gifted the pygmies a magnificent ring city at the edge of the world, as well as his youngest daughter, Felinor. This clever move ensured that the pygmies and the power of the Dark Soul would be kept to the ring city and out of Gwyn's way, so to speak. Now that he had secured absolute domination over the world, Gwyn began the Age of Fire, and this age would go on for a very, very long time. But Gwyn feared the coming of humans, and he knew that one day the power of the flame would fade, and that the power of darkness would one day prevail. Fearful of the Age of Dark, Gwyn sacrificed himself to prolong the Age of Flame, and thus this became a tradition among the years, or throughout the years, as other Lords of Cinder would continue to do so to keep the Age of Flame going on. This act of Gwyn's left him an empty husk of cinders, and that's basically what you're fighting when you encounter him at the end of Dark Souls 1. This empty husk of cinders that used to be Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. So I think that's kind of interesting. The story of Dark Souls is obviously a very unique one that very, very few actually understand, and I can't claim to be one of them. But the story continues on, obviously, through several centuries, and Dark Souls 2, even though it's a very different world, obviously continues this lineage in a very remote kind of way. But in Dark Souls 3, when you come across Soul of Cinder, the killing of the first flame, where you fight Soul of Cinder, is obviously that's the arena. But Soul of Cinder is an amalgamation of basically everyone who has ever linked the flame, and Gwyn is amongst them. And you can tell that when you fight him, he has many of the same moves, a lot of the same mannerisms as Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. And Gwyn, being the final boss of Dark Souls 1, is obviously a very tough opponent. He can close distance very quickly. He obviously hits very hard. The flame powers of his are, they're very devastating. So, obviously Gwyn showing up in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death is certainly no slouch of a boss. Definitely not one to be laughed at. And I think there are many, many interesting encounters we can create as long as Gwyn continues to show up in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. There is nothing really in the way of lore as it pertains to Great Grey Wolf Sif. Obviously, he is a very close companion of Artorias the Abyss Walker, and you encounter him in the Artorias the Abyss Walker DLC. I believe that's what it's called. Could be wrong though. You will find him in the DLC guarding Artorias' grave, and if you try to disturb it in any way, he will jump down and pick up Artorias' sword, and he will fight you with it. If you save Sif in the Chasm of the Abyss, a little bit different cutscene plays out where Sif jumps down and kind of sniffs you and lets out a whimper, and then he fights you. I think this is pretty universally agreed upon as one of the saddest fights in all of Dark Souls, because Sif is such a cool character and a beautiful wolf. And who wants to kill a beautiful wolf? You know? Especially one that's just guarding his master and his grave, and you don't really want to disturb it, but you could get a cool sword out of it, I guess. So yeah, but it is a cool fight, and but it's one of those ones that's really bittersweet. Once again, Sif is one of those one of those bosses you really kind of don't want to fight, but I guess for completionists out there, you kind of have to in order to do everything that you can possibly do. But yeah, Sif is a really cool boss, and obviously there are some interesting fights to be had. If Sif continues to show up here on SoulsBorne Battle to the Death, and I think that every time Sif does show up, I think we'll be ready to let out a cheer, because we all love Sif, and I think we wish we could have seen more of him in the Dark Souls games, but that's just not the way it played out. But here on SoulsBorne Battle to the Death, we can possibly see him more and more, so I, for one, am here for it. I think this is a pretty cool and interesting fight. I think it could really, it could be a tough one for quite a while, but I know we all love Sif, and I love Sif, but we are talking about Gwyn, Lord of Cinder here, and I don't think that Sif has what it takes. I'm sorry, all you Sif fans out there. I don't think Sif has what it takes to deal with Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. I think Gwyn is too tough. He's too strong. He's the final boss after all. So I think that Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, pretty much wins this fight decisively. I mean, it may be an uphill climb for him, but I think that Gwyn will eventually win this fight rather handily. So. Sorry, all the Sif fans, once again, out there. I'm a Sif fan as well, but I can't, in good conscience, give this fight to Sif. I think that Gwyn wins this fight pretty decisively, but that's just my opinion. Feel free to leave yours in the comments. And with that, yet another edition of SoulsBorne Battle to the Death draws to a close. RobertBlanchardBooks.com. If you're interested in the award-winning Rover Dragon series, you can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free. If you'd like to hear more about them, the Rise of Dragons podcast, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. My Linktree, my Instagram, my Twitter are all Bobby's World 2110. Mondays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the Dark Souls Remastered No Essus run that is going on right now. This past week, I venture into New Londo Ruins, and I am in a bad mood. So you can probably imagine how that goes. So, yeah, you may want to check that out and see how grumpy I am. Just in that particular episode, I really didn't give a shit about anything. So, so yeah, that's pretty much what's going on there. And Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is what you're watching right now. SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. And you just watched it, so I don't really have to describe to you what that is. So, there's more Hunger Games out. Well, 26 and 27 are out. I haven't made a new one yet. There should be one coming up very soon. I gotta put it together and start doing that. And Your Father's Story videos, 1 through 4 are up right now if you want to check those out. Back in the archives, I have the Elden Ring No Crimson Flask run. I have the Sekiro No Healing Gourd run. I have the Dark Souls 3 No Estus run, and the Dark Souls 3 No Level Up run. And also I have live streams up there as well. Most of them are tests for the live stream, but I have the one big live stream. The Elden Ring, beat Elden Ring in 6 hours or less on New Game Plus. Live stream that I had fun doing. It was about a year and a half ago, I think it was. I've been rewatching that, and I've actually been enjoying watching. I don't generally rewatch my old stuff, but I have been rewatching that, and I've been kind of enjoying it. So if you want to go back and check that out, that's there for everyone's viewing pleasure. And I think that's pretty much all I had to share for you. Leave a like, subscribe, notifications, and all that stuff. I appreciate all the love and support very much. Big changes are coming, I think, in my life and work and all that stuff. So stay tuned for all that. I think life's about to get a lot busier, but I'm going to try and keep up as best I can because I love doing this stuff. And yeah, I'm going to keep doing it for everyone that enjoys what I do. And I just love to share my work with the world. So yeah, I'm going to keep doing it for as long as I possibly can. And your love and support helps that a great deal. So that's all I really got to say. So I hope everyone has an amazing week. Be well, stay safe, and as always, it's Bobby's World, and you're all just living in it. See y'all, see you live, y'all. Bye.
Hey, boss.
Yes, Courtney.
Mrs. Anderson called. She wanted to order several copies of your books for family and friends.
Oh, that's amazing. Get some ordered, have them sent over to me, and I will sign them for her. I really appreciate it if you could do that for me.
I didn't know you were an author.
You did. Courtney, you've been with me for like 2 years now, and we've talked about it fairly constantly, and there's an ad at the end of every one of these videos.
Well, that doesn't mean that I listen to everything you tell me. Are the books any good?
Well, readersfavorite.com said that its intensity rivals that of the Game of Thrones series. I know, that's pretty crazy, but that's exactly what it says. It's on the Cry of a Raven review. Go check it out.
Well, that's pretty cool. What are the books about?
It's about a soldier who gets exiled for saving a baby dragon, and later he's killed, and he wakes up 3,000 years later with strange powers, and he's watched over by the very same dragon, and the world has been overrun by evil, and he now must travel back in time to stop the evil that started in his own home country.
Wow, that sounds interesting. How can I get copies of the books?
Well, you can go to robertblanchardbooks.com and order your copies there. You can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free. And if you want to hear more about them, you can listen to the Rise of Dragons podcast.
You have a podcast too?
You know what, Courtney? You are doing such an amazing job that I think you are due for a raise. How does that sound?
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Thank you, boss.
You bet. Too bad the raise is going to be when I raise a water balloon over her head and just... Maybe I'll wait until her mom calls. I think she'll find that pretty funny. Go to robertblanchardbooks.com right now and get your copies of the series that got 3 5-star reviews from readersfavorite.com, 3 Author Shout Recommended Reads Awards, and 2 Literary Titan Silver Awards. You can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free, read more reviews, short stories, and much more. And if you want to hear more about them, you can listen to the Rise of Dragons podcast wherever you find your favorite podcasts.